In the dusty haze of a forgotten frontier town, where the sun beat down like an unrelenting judge, a young girl named Lily huddled in the shadows of the old saloon. Her dress was torn, her face streaked with dirt and tears, and bruises bloomed like cruel flowers on her fragile arms. "Please, don't beat me, I'm already hurt," she cried, her voice a fragile whisper that cut through the clamor of rough men laughing inside. The burly rancher towering over her raised his fist, his eyes cold with the kind of anger that fed on weakness, ready to strike again for some petty theft she hadn't even committed. It was in that moment of raw desperation that the silent cowboy appeared, stepping out from the alley like a ghost from the plains, his hat low and his gaze steady as the horizon. The cowboy was known only as Jack, a man of few words who roamed the Badlands with a weathered saddle and a heart scarred by losses he never spoke of. Folks whispered about him, how he'd lost his family to bandits years ago, how he wandered alone, helping strangers without asking for thanks. He wasn't a hero in the tales spun around campfires, he was just a man who understood pain too well to ignore it. As Lily's plea hung in the air, Jack paused, his boots crunching softly on the gravel. The rancher sneered, "Mind your own, stranger. This ain't your concern." But Jack didn't draw his gun or shout back. Instead, he simply knelt down beside the girl, his calloused hand gently lifting her chin so she could see his eyes that held no judgment, only a quiet empathy that made her tears flow anew. Lily's story was one echoed in countless lives across the vast American landscape, from the bustling cities back east to the endless prairies of the West. She was an orphan, barely 12, fleeing a cruel foster home where beatings were as common as sunrises. She'd stolen a loaf of bread not out of malice, but survival, her small body already aching from hunger and the wounds of abandonment. In a world that often turned a blind eye to the vulnerable, her cry was a universal plea, for mercy, for understanding, for someone to see her not as a burden, but as a child deserving of kindness. Jack, in his silence, seemed to hear it all. He pulled a canteen from his belt and offered her water, his movements deliberate and calm, ignoring the rancher's growing fury. The unexpected turn came not with violence, but with revelation. As the rancher lunged forward, bellowing threats, Jack stood slowly, his hand resting lightly on his hip, not on his holster, but on a faded locket he wore around his neck. He opened it without a word, revealing a tiny photograph of a girl about Lily's age, with the same wide eyes and innocent smile. "My daughter," he finally spoke, his voice gravelly from disuse, breaking the tension like thunder in a clear sky. The rancher froze, his fist hovering mid-air. In that profound moment, the bully saw his own reflection, not in the cowboy's stern face, but in the pain-etched eye.